The area now known as Paquette Park in the village of Champlain for years and years looked a lot like this. Then in January 11th, 1966, a devastating fire destroyed this block on Main Street. Located across from what is now Paquette Park was a little house that sat next to Baudette's Central Tavern, and is now also continues, the building continues as a bar. Paquette's Insurance was to the left during the 50s and 60s of the Central Tavern. That little house in the 50s and 60s was the home of Ma Dupee. And for teenagers roaming the streets in the village of Champlain, it was a place to be. Ma Dupee would always welcome you in there. You could buy a soda, play cards, or just sit there and chat with your friends. And she never asked you if you were going to buy something. If you wanted to buy a soda, you went into the refrigerator, pulled one out, and handed her the money. If you needed a sandwich, she made a sandwich. She had chips, she had jukebox, and nobody ever gave any thought to shortchanging her. And in fact, it was well known that if somebody did decide to shortchange her, that the baddest guys in town would have handled it. I'm standing on the corner of what was known as Mertz's Restaurant when I was younger, and during my high school days became Babby's Restaurant. It was one of the last buildings to be torn down here in this block. The building on our left was the American Hotel, American House, or hotel, whatever you preferred. It's now apartments and owned by Chad Poirier, who's done a heck of a job to make that a very nice looking building. The tall brick building was Greenberg's hardware store. Next to it was Paquette's Insurance, and on the end here was the Central Tavern, which is still, as we said earlier, operating as a bar. Ma Dupee's was located right here, and it's now gone. The building is gone, and it's now a parking lot. We are standing out here at 5:40 p.m. on this July 7th, 2012, because very shortly the class of St. Mary's 1962, as part of their 50th anniversary celebration, they're attending Mass at St. Mary's. Then they'll be going up to the Knights of Columbus Hall to enjoy each other's company and a fine meal. But before they do that, and after Mass, they're going to come here, which will be happening very shortly, and dedicate this small tree in Paquette Park in memory of Ma Dupee. It shows her Dupee's Restaurant sign, and there's a picture of Ma Dupee, and a second home to the area youth of the 40s through the 70s. St. Mary's Academy class of 1962, and they're saying thank you to Ma Dupee, Violet Dupee. And community didn't need a youth center back then. The parents knew that if their kids were at Ma Dupee's, they were well taken care of. The class of 62 has arrived. It's shortly after 6 p.m. And her daughter is here. One of her daughters. I know she had several brothers. A couple of people in Champlain my age will certainly remember Bob Dupee and Liam Dupee, who just left us a few years ago. The class of 62 getting together here from St. Mary's. There will be a few words spoken, I believe. I recognize a good many of them, but unfortunately not all of them, so I'm not going to mention all the ones I do remember, because the ones I don't remember will probably be upset with me. Especially the old guys like him there, Artie. Alright, we're going to try to get a little closer view. How you doing, Art? Looks like Richard Favreau will be the master of ceremonies. Gary?
Ready?
I'm shooting.
What do you think?
I'm shooting. Old neighbor of mine, Gary Favreau, over there.
I guess if everybody wants to come in a little closer so I don't have to yell. Okay. I used to be the little squeaky one in class, but I guess, I don't know, my voice matured, I guess, or whatever, something. As, who was it just said, somebody just, oh, Gloria Petro, that I'm a politician, I guess, whatever. During the committee's beginning of our class reunion, we all thought of something that we really should do special, and hope I can get through this. I'm awful sentimental tonight. I guess I'm getting like my father, the more sentimental as the years go on. But anyway, I hope I don't get all choked up here, but if it is, it's well worth it. So anyway, we decided to do, we thought of something of all the years through this community. Ma Dupee had never been recognized that I'm aware of, and if anybody else, I stand to be corrected. But the lady should have been paraded through this community, honored time after time for what she's done. I was going to try to just off the top of my head do some stuff. I put some things down. First of all, I'd like to thank our Honorable Mayor, Greg Martin, for coming here tonight.
Welcome to the village.
Also, we have our daughter of Ma Dupee, but Phyllis, it's all right. Phyllis, she remembers me when I was a little kid.
I think most of them were little kids.
Yeah. And her grandson and her daughter-in-law Marie, and then there's other friends, and of course our class. And I think we started going there from 8th grade on through senior class, and that would seem the place to go. Ma Dupee, Violet, but it was Ma. Who was she? She was a beautiful, loving, 4-foot-tall, red-haired lady with gleaming eyes, an apron, a dress, a hairnet, and a warm smile to welcome you. I'm sure we all have our fond recollections of her. To some of us, Ma's was a safe house, a place to do homework, organize activities for school, wait for a ride, or just a meeting place for the best supervised social place in the North Country, where you could bond, or tell, or listen to jokes. In there were 3 booths, a table in the middle, seat 4 to 6 it seems, jukebox that never seemed to stop playing, and a competitive pinball machine waiting for challengers. And of course there was Ma sitting right at as you walked in, there she was, greeting you. I can't imagine, and I say, when Laura typed this up for me, she says, you made a mistake, that can't be. And I'm sure, because I talked to Michael LaFontaine last night, and I say, I can't imagine there, between the late 40s through the early 70s, I said there had to be thousands of people that went in and out of her door. In that side porch was a wooden railing, and a few times I remember that she got a little upset because there were too many people sitting on it and it got a little loose and wobbly. So you went out and sat in the front, which was the metal pipes, which is a lot safer. Thinking back, it seems that Ma's was always open. I was talking to Doris yesterday, and I don't ever remember Ma saying, I gotta close, it's time to leave. I stand to be corrected, but I don't ever remember. And you went down, she was open. whenever, during the day, evening, or whatever. How did we fit everyone in that little room? It amazes me. I don't know. I mean, you walked in and after a ball game or whatever it may be, any activity that went on, I mean, you could hear the thunder of everybody coming in, and where they went, I don't know, but she sat right there and made sure everybody in and out. Of course, sometimes you had to check that stairwell. There were some young lovers sitting in there or something, and she'd say, and give you a little whatever. Ma was our guidance counselor. She actually it was another class that you took, I think, because, you know, she taught us respect and appreciation. Though I think we all took it for granted then, at that time. If you don't have any fond memories of Ma, then unfortunately you didn't have the opportunity to patronize her place. It was our home. I mean, I came down here, we did everything here. Again, I was talking to Doris different times, and Guy we had a giant hide-and-go-seek party throughout the whole village, on the roofs of all the buildings. It would last correct, Guy? All night long, for hours and hours. We'd start there, and until everybody was found. We had Coonan's Alley, we had all over the place, and all good fun. And I remember one thing, if you ever upset Ma, you were ousted. And the only way you got back in, and God help you, you got on your knees in front of her and begged to come back. Most of the time you got back in. Again, like I started before, I'm sorry to say, but I do not remember receiving any type, Ma ever receiving any type of recognition from our community. With this, Ma, we love you for what you did for us. I would like to think that this is not a memorial or a remembrance to Ma. I'd like to let her know that we've never forgotten her.
Very good, Jimmy.
You're talking with the mayor, and the plaque will be put in cement and redisplayed.
And by the way, this isn't the way this is going to stay. If you're all wondering, we're going to do it right. But we've worked with the Honorable Mayor and his superintendent, and it's going to be permitized, and we're going to leave it at a nice angle. And of course, they forgot our beautiful tree. Where's Pat? Pat, what is it? It's what?
Flowering crab.
Flowering crab. So anyway, it's all planted and it's there. And we are directly, as you know, just about across the road. I think I just saw Ma duck in a little bit ago.
Oh my God.
Anyway.
Yeah. Looking down.
Well, that kind of ends this part. I'm going to bring this over to the Knights of Columbus and set it up over there. As you know, it's right across the bridge on your left. We can go over and begin celebrating our 50th reunion.
They had more wine in church than they did at the golf course.
Very, very well done. A nice gesture for a nice lady, and as we said earlier, a lady that always welcomed the youngsters of the community and always trusted them, and they didn't let her down with that trust. So the class of '62, if you recognize the few faces, join the club. Dedicate this tree and monument here in Paquette Park in the village of Champlain to Violet Ma Dupee.